Hello everyone, I am Dilip Kumar Dubey, student of LLM final year at Central University of Punjab, Bathinda. Today I am going to discuss about Conference of Parties. But first, let's talk about United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, that is also known as UNFCCC. To get some clear view about COP, Conference of Parties, UNFCCC is the primary multilateral treaty governing actions to combat climate change through adaptation and mitigation. Efforts directed at control of emission of greenhouse gases that cause global warming. It came into force on 21st March 1994. It has been ratified by 197 countries and is called to have a near universal membership. The countries that have ratified the convention are called UNFCCC Conference of Parties. Adoption of the report of the Conference of Parties on its second session was held in Geneva, Switzerland from 8 July to 19 July 1996. COP basically means the supreme decision making body of the convention. All states that are parties to the convention are represented at the COP, at which they review the implementation of convention and any other legal instrument that the COP adopts and takes decisions necessary to promote the effective implementation of the convention, including institutional and administrative arrangement. There are some takeaway points. This Conference of Parties accepted the scientific findings on climate change offered by the IPCC in its second assessment report in 1995. The COP Conference of Parties rejected uniform harmonized policy and in favor of flexibility, and it is called for legally binding midterm target. So let's talk about the opening of the conference. The opening of the conference opened with the Palais des Nations, Geneva on July 1996 by the president of the conference at its first session. Angela Merkel, who is Federal Minister for the Environment, Nature Conservation and Nuclear Safety of the Federal Republic of Germany. She starts the conference with interim evaluation of the implementation of UNFCCC and the progress made in the first session, which was held in the Berlin, Germany. The parties were called upon to negotiate a protocol or another legal instrument in order to strengthen the commitment of Annex 1 parties, who is developed countries, in Article 4.2 A and B for adoption at third session of the conference. She further indicates that it was a matter of great concern that halfway through that process, a convergence of views was not yet in sight. At the same time, recent scientific findings, as contained in the second assessment report of the IPCC, which was held in 1995, confirmed that the global climate was undergoing changes as a result of human activities and that it was increasingly urgent to take consistent precautionary actions. She further added in that regard, it was also a matter of great concern that the first national communication of Annex 1 parties revealed that some of them currently expected to be unable to meet the emission reduction target of the convention to return their greenhouse gas emission to 1990 levels by the year 2000. In Berlin mandate, there was no question of introducing new commitments for developing countries, non-Annex 1 countries. Global climate protection could only be successful if action could be taken on a worldwide level. There are some takeaway points from this opening conference. The conference should therefore consider what joint action could be taken to advance the implementation of the existing commitments. First one is need to decide on the guidelines for the national communications on non-Annex 1 non-developing countries parties. The second one is increased cooperation between all parties, particularly in the field of climate protection technologies. In conclusion of the opening conference of the parties, she expressed the hope that the conference would make clear statement on the urgency of further action in the light of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change findings. and on further efforts regarding the implementation of the existing convention commitments. Further, we had at the first opening plenary meeting on 8th July. On the proposal of the outgoing president, the conference elected by acclamation Mr. Chen Chimutangwendi, who was Minister of Environment and Tourism of Zimbabwe, as president of the Conference of Party. He was listed the main substantive issue before the conference. At the present session, he emphasized the importance of the contributions made by the IPCC is its second assessment report, which was held in 1995 and by the specialized agency and intergovernmental and non-government organization concerned. Further, he suggested that the conference might wish to take the opportunity to request the IPCC to identify policy options that could be deemed to be appropriate in their own rights, economically justifiable, sensitive to equity consideration, and yet addressing environmental concerns. He further added, in seeking solution to the problems to be addressed, the importance of equity considerations could not be overemphasized. The developing countries were characterized by limited financial and technological resources and limited human and institutional capacities. There are some takeaway points from the president's election, which is many developing countries, notably in Africa, remained dependent on agro-based industry that was climate sensitive and were faced with harsh economic condition and a huge external debt burden. Their priorities were inevitably placed on such urgent matters as poverty alleviation, the improvement of social services, and job creation. The most vulnerable to the impact of possible climate change and variability. Moreover, for many of them in change, of particular the low-lying countries and small island states, the cost of adaptation measures was beyond their national capacities. In conclusion, he urged all parties to provide further efforts to the implementation of the convention and to the strengthening of the efforts to combat climate change. The opening statement at the first plenary meeting on 8 July, opening statement were made by Mr. Nitin Desai, Under Secretary General for Policy, Coordination and Sustainable Development, who conveyed a message to the conference from the Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Cloud. Status of ratification. On the institution of the President, the conference took note with satisfaction the 155 states and one regional economic integration organization were now parties to the convention. That two more states, namely the United Republic of Tanzania and Qatar, would become parties before the closure of the session, and that one more state, Israel, had deposited its instrument of ratification and would become a party in the month of August. The president further informed the conference that government of Kazakh Republic and Slovakia had also requested that the name of Czechoslovakia be deleted from Annex 1 to the convention, as that country had never been a party to the convention and no longer existed as state entity, and that the name of the Kazakh Republic and the Slovak Republic be included in the Annex. Hence, there was total of 26 COPs held as so far. We can discuss about them in detail in further videos. I hope you can get the basic idea of UNFCCC and COPs with this video. If you get some information from this video, please like, subscribe and share for more information. Thank you.